Hey folks, ARCHMAN here. I'm just going to make a quick video, mainly because it happens to be convenient right now. I'm getting ready to go over to a friend's house and he has the interweb service, and I've recently discovered that when I posted the last video that I can make a video with my iPhone and then post it to YouTube, and I have no idea why, but it was really fast, the last video that I did. I mean, it took like 12 minutes or something to post a video, when usually on my laptop it seems to take forever, like half an hour or longer. So, yeah, I really just kind of wanted to address the number one comment that I've received lately, and question, and man, I've just gotten so many requests and emails for, like it says above, the Paramilitary 2. And I just kind of wanted to say, shit, who doesn't want a Paramilitary 2? You know? If you pay attention to specs and things like that, then anybody who knows a thing or two about knives would see that it's got a lot going for it, you know, obviously. You know, Spyderco, Sal and Eric, they really have done an incredible job with addressing the issues, the shortcomings of the Paramilitary 1. And in my opinion, the number one issue with the Paramilitary 1 and the current military is the screws. The construction of the thing is relatively piss poor, you know. And I mean, it's still a great knife. There's still great knives, but you know, it's just, I can't imagine, you know, from my perspective, looking at this finished product and not going, shit, we fucked up. Like, why did we use these tiny screws, and why did we use them in this way? It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. So there really are two reasons why I don't have a Paramilitary 2. First reason is I have a military. Second reason is I have a Sebenza. No, that's not really it. I just flying by the seat of my pants here. No, the first reason is I just can't afford to buy an extra knife right now. You know, I'm between seasons, and I'm just having a grand old time poor boying it right now. And the second reason is that I do have these two knives, all right? And it's funny because from, you know, what you would call a knife nut's point of view, that doesn't make much sense. You know, just like, shit, man, you know, of course you don't need another knife, but shit, there's a new one out, you know? And the thing is, I will eventually acquire a Paramilitary 2 at some point, you know? It's just, like I said, it's got a lot going for it. And basically, you know, the Spyderco military, I have done lots of reviews on these knives, and even them together. But Spyderco military is my favorite knife, and it's just because it's relatively affordable. It has fantastic steel, ergonomics, and even though it's kind of a largish knife, the thing really disappears in your pocket, you know, all things considered. And yeah, I mean, it's just a great little piece of work. It's not, I wouldn't say that it's an end-all beat-all knife. And if I was going out on a hike or something like that, I would not find this knife necessarily acceptable to be my only edged tool, right? Because I think it does have some shortcomings, all right? So the Spyderco military is my favorite knife, you know? But like I said, it's not perfect, all right? The Sebenza, in this case the large 21 Sebenza, I think is the best knife available, all right? And as far as usability, carrying comfort, and then just robustness. It's got a lot going for it, the Sebenza does, you know. I don't necessarily see it as expendable, you know, by any means, which is one of the main reasons why I see the military as my favorite knife, because it is, I wouldn't say it's disposable, you know, by any means, but, you know, I don't know, blah, blah, blah. So basically, the Paramilitary 2, they have added beefier screws, and I can't really comment a whole lot on it, but I can ask questions, you know. So basically, one of my beefs with the military is not just that it has very small screws, all right? Like you can see the screws compared to the Sebenza, much smaller, all right? Not just the small screws, but their application is semi-ridiculous, all right? And that's because there are no pins holding the knife together, all right? The screws simply screw into a spacer, and that's it, all right? In order for a knife to be rigid, it's got to be sitting on more than screws, all right? So the screws of the military, they screw directly into this spacer. So you have the sheer forces of this knife wanting to be not together. I mean, if there weren't screws, it would be a pile of material. So they don't really want to be together, especially when you're putting force on them, you know. Pardon me, I do have a cold. I apologize. So anyhow, the sheer force of using the knife would be in the gaps between the G10, the aluminum spacer, and the other G10. And you just have screws, threaded screws in that gap, all right? Not a solid pin. And I wonder if they've addressed that with the Paramilitary too. Another thing that I feel kind of alarmed about, and I'll just want to check it out for myself, is the way they've used the bushing, all right? If they just have a piece of metal in between the handle slabs and then they have screws going into that, once again, you have the problem of shear force against screws, all right? If you've ever worked in construction, you know that anytime you have shear force, you want to use a nail, not a screw, all right? So, because it just has more rigidity to it, all right? Chris Reeve has done it right, okay? I mean, hit it right out of the park, you know, with the Sebenza. And that is, you know, he's got these pins, all right? Those female sides of the screws are big, thick, fatty pins, all right? So what's going on here is you've got this female side of the pivot, and then obviously holes drilled into the titanium and the blade, all right? So that female side / pin fits snugly through both titanium slabs, all right? Nice solid pin, and that's in all 3 of the screws, all right? Nice solid pin going through both slabs, all right? And then you have a bushing that slips over that, all right? And then that is the bushing that holds the slabs together and apart, and with a nice, tight, rigid fit, all right? And then you have, obviously the blade slips over that bushing, and washers and all that stuff, and then the titanium slab on the other side. So the screw holds the pin in, and the pin holds the knife together, all right? And that is proper application. And I can't imagine how people can have this shining example staring them in the face and then make something different. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But like I said, that's a question, not an answer or a statement. I'm wondering. Anyhow, I'm going to run out of time. Just wanted to talk about Paramilitary 2. And if you got an extra one, send it to ARCHMAN. I'll review it. Palabra a tu madre. Don't let your meat loaf. Boys!